Stephen, of course, here with us to give a sensible viewpoint. Dermot, of course, is here as well. Very good morning to you, Dermot.
Good morning, Rob.
Right, let's get straight to the Emirates. Controversial sending off for Declan Rice, the first of his career. You could hear what Arsenal fans made of referee Chris Kavanagh's decision to show Rice a second yellow card for delaying a restart just there.
Look, he knows what he's doing. And secondly, the touchline. And I say the touchline because he knocks it, people say he didn't knock it very far, but he actually knocks it off the field, so he definitely can't restart play. So referee Chris Kavanagh's got nowhere to go, really. He'd had a yellow card for a lunging tackle in the first half, second yellow card mandatory, gets sent off.
OK, is there ever a moment with a technicality like that a referee can use common sense and say, come on, Declan, for goodness sake?
Common sense and refereeing don't actually go hand in hand, do they? Because when a referee uses common sense, I come here on a Monday and you say, well, hang on, we saw this given, we got told this, and he hasn't followed it. So the common sense that you're talking about is to avoid the issue, if you like, and not carry out his duties. The referee has used common sense, in my view, because the common sense is to apply the law correctly, which he has done.
What about the idea that Veltman knew exactly what he was doing?
Maybe so, but it doesn't exonerate what Rice did. Veltman, all Veltman can do is take the kick. I mean, he couldn't take the kick for definite because the ball disappeared. And the fact that some people argue the ball was moving when he went to take the free kick, so therefore wasn't even a proper free kick anyway, and should have been brought back because the ball was moving. Do you buy into that argument? It can only be brought back if Veltman kicks the ball, because it's Rice that commits the offence, not Veltman. If Veltman kicks the ball and it's moving, then the referee whistles and brings it back. But that didn't occur. What happened is Rice made sure he couldn't kick the ball, whether it was legally able to kick it or illegally able to kick it. OK,
in the poll at the moment, 74%, I'm hearing, 74% of you saying that Declan Rice shouldn't have been sent off. Are you in the 74? Please don't ask me to do the other. 26%.
Well done, Rob.
Yeah, maths at 6 at school. Are you in the 26% or in the 74%? Should that red card have been given?
You work it out from this. So don't give the referee the decision. I don't like it. I don't think it warrants a yellow card. But it does under the laws of the game. It's frustrating from Declan Rice's point of view, but it's stupid as well. So we've got the ball here, and I know it's the opposite side, but if Sue is Veltman here, then he can kick me.
Whack him.
But all I need to do is, if you're going to play the ball that way, Declan Rice is looking that way, so he knows what's longer down the pitch as well. But that, I don't even have to look at the ball, and I know I can kick it. So he knows exactly what he's doing. So Arsenal fans who have probably voted this morning saying, oh, he hasn't done it on purpose. He absolutely has. I know where that ball is now. I'm looking at you. I know exactly where it is. I can see it all the time. So he knows what he's doing. Don't give the referee the option, especially when you're on a yellow card. But also Veltman knows exactly. Declan Rice is being booked. You know who's being booked in a game, whether it's right or wrong. I'm gonna try my best to get him sent off.
These guys look straight down the pitch.
Who's Declan Rice?
Veltman's?
Yeah, they do. But he also knows Declan Rice is very close to him. He's looking to play a longer ball. So by knocking it off that line, he knows exactly what he's doing, Declan Rice. So I think it is a second yellow.
Yeah, first of all, I don't like it. And I don't think the referee actually liked doing it. You could see by his face, he was like, oh, I'm going to have to give you a red card, a second yellow, which is a red card for this. I don't think he wanted to do it, but it is the rules, and that's the thing. And I think I'm with you in the term, in the fact of Declan Rice did know what he was doing, because he looks down at the ball before he kicks it away. So he knows that Veltman wants to take a free kick. I'm just going to knock it out of play. So I can understand the frustration from Declan Rice and from Arsenal fans, because I don't like it either. But it is the rules of the game, and you know that as a player, because like you said, they've been briefed. They know that by stopping them playing, you're going to get a second yellow. So don't give them the opportunity to do that.
Consistency as well, Dermot, perhaps the source of frustration for Arsenal fans, because they're furious, wondering why João Pedro didn't receive a booking for a more obvious example in the first half. So what was the difference?
the difference being the ball's gone out of play, the referee feels that there's no Arsenal player there. He could well have yellow carded him. He chose not to. I think he chose not to because the ball goes straight to the goalkeeper who fielded it back. By the time the ball was back, the Arsenal players were ready to take the throw in. He also may feel it didn't stop Arsenal attacking. Like Veltman had that opportunity to play the ball down the line. Rice took that opportunity away from him.
Intent as well. You can't mind read a footballer, can you? He might argue, Pedro, that he thought the ball was still in play, so he gave it a whack.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can argue, Rob, but the overriding thing is, whatever happened with the Brighton player, it didn't exonerate what Rice did.
OK. You happy with that?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, and just to go back to your point there, when you say he might have thought it was in place, he gave it a whack, that's when you know he knows it's not in play.
Yes.
So he knows exactly what he's doing.
Arguments.
But this is the consistency we're looking for.
Yeah, does that frustrate you, Sue?
Yeah, I think, because you would say that is another yellow. That's the only thing, if I was João Pedro, I'd probably say, I didn't think it was out, I was just playing it down the line. So that would be my reason for doing it. But like Stephen said, I think he knew. So that's got to be a yellow too.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, though, that as Stephen so aptly simulated the first one, would you like to simulate the other one?
It's an expensive studio, this, David.
We got a lot of lights out there, a lot of lights. Yeah, consistency and the frustration when that's not... I think we might come back to that. Let's talk about Rice's first yellow card. It was looked at by VAR, of course, and cleared for a possible red outcome.
Definitely. This is also a tackle that I talk about many, many times. If you're a young lad learning how to referee, you see the ball, he's overrun the ball, he's knocked it too far. His immediate reaction is, I've got to get that back. So he's reaching for it. And what you do as a referee, the alarm bells ring and you don't prejudge, you prepare. Watch this, see what happens. But he's low, he hasn't gone in with the studs showing, yellow card.
It was interesting when he got up, he said it was a 50-50, and I was thinking, it's not an argument, is it? When
play in the North London derby, so what does Mikel Arteta do?
Well, there's a double blow for Arsenal because 48 hours before that Brighton game, Mikel Arteta lost Mikel Merino, the new £30 million midfield signing, in his first training session. You can see him there with his arm in a sling. He's fractured his shoulders. Reports in the newspaper say he could be out for up to 2 months. So it leaves Arsenal with a real midfield dilemma. We don't know really who's going to be able to play in that midfield because there's a heavy reliance on Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard, who sort of have to play in this midfield now because they're the only two natural sort of central midfielders available. So it's just a question of who plays in this last part. Of course, this could all change. It might not be Timber, it could be Calafiori, Zinchenko, it might not be Trossard, it might be Martinelli, but Mikel Arteta does have options, but they're not the most foolproof options to play in this sort of left 8 midfield role. And we're going to take a look at the minutes of some of the contenders that Mikel Arteta has at his disposal. So the big one is... So these are the stats of Arsenal players playing in the number 8. These are the number of minutes they had in that left number.
In that specific position, because he obviously plays in different positions.
Exactly.
So
it's the specific position. It's not a defensive midfielder. It's more of like an attacking midfielder. Now, Kai Havertz started last season as an attacking midfielder for Arsenal, so that's why he's top of the list. And he might potentially be the favourite just to drop back from that striker role and then play in that midfield. Now, Leandro Trossard has actually said that attacking midfield is his best position. It's his favourite position. So he could be another option.
He might get a start.
Exactly. He might drop back from that left wing. He started against Brighton and then Martinelli can come in. Now, Jorginho hasn't played that many minutes as a number 8. He's mainly played as a defensive midfielder, number 6. So maybe Mikel Arteta could tweak it and play 2 number 6s and then have Martin Odegaard further front. That would be Jorginho next to Thomas Partey. Then you get into the really interesting ones. Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, both on the bench against Brighton. They were warming up as soon as Declan Rice's red card happened. It would be a major vote of confidence from Mikel Arteta to play these teenagers. Nwaneri, obviously, we all remember him. He became Arsenal's youngest ever Premier League player when he came on against Brentford 2 seasons ago, age 15. He got 15 minutes against West Ham last season when Arsenal were already 6-0 up. Is the North London derby the platform for him?
Bit big.
It is a bit big. Same for Lewis Skelly. He's sort of like an inverted left-back option who's mainly a midfielder. So, yeah, it would be a big one for him. And then you've got the inverted fullbacks who could be an option. Now, Ben White, Yuri and Timber, Alex Zinchenko all have experience of playing as a midfielder during their career. So maybe that could be a wild-card option for Mikel Arteta to do in that North London derby a week on Sunday.
One of the biggest of games to have a wild-card option for Mikel Arteta. So
Arsenal squad depth confirmed after £74 million spending spree and Raheem Sterling admission. With the summer transfer window now closed, Arsenal's squad is locked in, and Mikel Arteta finds himself in a strong position to rotate his team and compete on multiple fronts. However, there was a brief moment last Friday when Arsenal's squad seemed alarmingly thin. On deadline day, Aaron Ramsdale, Eddie Nketiah, and Reiss Nelson were all allowed to leave, while Emile Smith-Rowe had already moved to Fulham earlier in the window. The English core that provided depth for the Gunners last season suddenly seemed to have vanished. But things changed rapidly. Starting with the goalkeeper position, Arsenal found themselves in a tricky situation on deadline day. They were seeking replacements for Ramsdale and Karl Hein, who had joined Real Valladolid on loan earlier in the summer. The club targeted Joan Garcia and Dan Bentley but found them too expensive. Instead, Arsenal secured a loan deal for Bournemouth's goalkeeper Neto for the rest of the season. With the 35-year-old Brazilian now on the books, the goalkeeping concerns were largely resolved. Of course, there's still some risk with Neto, who is cup-tied for Carabao Cup matches, meaning summer signing Tommy Setford will step up to the bench for those games. While highly rated, asking Setford to replace David Raya in those matches might be risky. Defensively, Arsenal is well stocked. It's hard to forget how, just a few seasons ago, an injury to William Saliba derailed their title challenge. This time, the Gunners seem better equipped to handle such a blow. Jurrien Timber, who played as a central defender during pre-season, is naturally a right-back, providing competition for Ben White, who can also play as a centre-back. Timber has recently established himself as the first-choice left-back, keeping Alexander Zinchenko and summer signing Ricardo Calafiori out of the starting lineup. Calafiori has already demonstrated his versatility in limited appearances, covering both central defense and left-back. Jakub Kiwior is another option for left-back and central defense. All of this is before even considering the high level of competence and versatility Takahiro Tomiyasu offers when fit. Kieran Tierney is still at the club as well. In defensive midfield, Arsenal once again looks strong. Thomas Partey and Jorginho both have just 1 year left on their respective contracts, but they remain high-quality options for now. Mikel Arteta views Declan Rice as the long-term solution in that position, so don't be surprised if you see him playing as a 6 this season as well. For now, Rice is playing as an 8, with competition provided by Mikel Merino. Unfortunately, Merino suffered a shoulder injury in his first training session after arriving from Real Sociedad, likely sidelining him for 2 months. Arsenal might be slightly thin in midfield until his return, but when fit, that position looks solid. The right 8 position is also somewhat thin at the moment. Martin Odegaard is obviously the first choice and arguably the best player in the Premier League right now. However, if the Norwegian were to get injured, Arsenal would be stretched, especially since Fabio Vieira has joined Porto on loan. Excitingly, though, young Ethan Nwaneri seems poised to get some first-team minutes this season and could provide cover for Odegaard in cup competitions. The Hale End graduate can play in either of the 8 positions, while fellow academy product Miles Lewis-Skelly is also an option in that role. If Arteta prefers experience, he could move Kai Havertz back from the centre-forward position, while Leandro Trossard could shift from the left wing. You get the sense that Arteta might be reluctant to make such changes now, given how well both Havertz and Trossard are performing in their respective positions. The competition for spots between Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli is likely fueling this success to some extent. The right wing is where Arsenal has often felt a bit light beyond Bukayo Saka. The England international is one of the best in the world in that role, but playing every minute of every game will eventually take its toll. Nelson wasn't someone Arteta seemed to trust fully as cover, which is why the 24-year-old was allowed to go on loan to Fulham for the season. In his place, Arsenal brought in Raheem Sterling, finally solving the Saka conundrum. The 29-year-old may not be an exact like-for-like replacement for Saka, but he has excelled on the right for both club and country and can also feature on the left or even as a false 9, where he regularly played for Manchester City. Arteta has admitted that it might take some time for Sterling to get up to speed. We need to see him, talk to him about what he's been doing, how he's feeling about it, and try to find quick wins to get him up to speed as fast as possible and understand what we expect from him within the team dynamic, Arteta said when asked about Sterling's deadline day arrival on Saturday. We'll use this time to do that and get him involved as soon as possible. But with the England international now available, Arsenal's squad is looking increasingly strong. If they can get their midfielders back and available soon, then the Gunners seem to have a group capable of challenging on multiple fronts. Arteta hopes this will be enough to secure his first trophy in nearly 5 years. Arsenal squad depth. Goalkeeper, David Raya, Neto. Right back, Ben White, Jurrien Timber, Takahiro Tomiyasu. Right centre-back, William Saliba, Jurrien Timber, Jakub Kiwior, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Ben White. Left centre-back, Gabriel, Ricardo Calafiori, Jakub Kiwior, Jurrien Timber. Left back, Jurrien Timber, Ricardo Calafiori, Oleksandr Zinchenko, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Jakub Kiwior, Miles Lewis Skelly. Defensive midfielder, Thomas Partey, Jorginho, Declan Rice, Mikel Merino. Right 8, Martin Odegaard, Ethan Nwaneri, Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino. Left 8, Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, Kai Havertz, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis Skelly. Right wing, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling, Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli. Centre forward, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Leandro Trossard, Raheem Sterling. Left wing, Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus.